Kritika, thank you very much for that. I mean, I think the market is making another move slightly lower. I mean, 130 odd points down. We're at about 9,184 or so. Let's speak with a portfolio manager now. Rajesh Phirwani sort of runs funds for clients at Valcreate Investments. Rajesh, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time. I remember we spoke. I think towards around the beginning of March it was about pharma, your thoughts basically were focused on very specific pharma names there, not the big branded generic players focused on the US, but smaller companies, opportunities, India focused companies, etc. But we've seen this big run in pharmaceuticals over the last 1 month. You've tracked the sector for two and a half decades, Rajesh. What are your thoughts?
Prashant, see, the pharma sector has underperformed indices over the last 6-7 years. Also, if you see some of the larger generic companies, they had a very good dream run from 2008-9 to 2015-16 when they launched these hybrid specialties, or I would say low competition or complex products where they made a lot of margins. Unfortunately, that kind of peaked out around 2015-16, and they had these warning letters and import alerts, and at the same time a lot of competition in those products, and there was an investigation into pricing. So all of those things kind of impacted their top lines and their margins. The size of these companies also have gone up substantially. So, we were coming out of that period till about a couple of months back. And then this coronavirus has, taken place. We've seen a big impact on all the remaining sectors. And I think there's been a big move from other sectors to pharma and FMCG. And this move by mutual funds and probably even foreign investors and domestic investors has probably led to this rise in these stocks. Also, we are coming out of a lot of lull in these companies in terms of earnings growth. Probably this year, they will have a better year in terms of earnings growth. And from a relative perspective, generic companies are going to have a better year in 2020 or let's say FY21 compared to the street in general. So I think if you see earnings in FY21 for the entire market may get impacted, may even fall. But for pharma, probably it will be a better year. So maybe there is a bit of a move in terms of asset investment into pharma, funds moving into pharma stocks. Having said that, some of these generic companies are still too big. The ROCEs in their businesses are still lower than 12-13% and barely meeting cost of capital. So I think this is a 1-year trade. I think it's a tactical trade in some of these generic companies. I would stick to core names which are, showing high ROEs or high ROCEs of 30% plus or 25-30% plus. Companies which are in domestic MNC pharma sector or companies which are in contract manufacturing and research. I think those are some of the companies which will still stand out and have a structural tailwind or a structural growth story going on for them for the last many years, and will continue for many years to come.
Rajesh, good morning. Thanks a lot for joining us. Pharma, according to you, should continue to do well. But what is your outlook on the NBFC space? We have news surrounding the Franklin Templeton Fund, winding down on 6 schemes. We also had a news yesterday that the effort to infuse liquidity in NBFCs via TLTRO has received a very tepid response. The entire NBFC pack is not doing so well today. What is your outlook on the NBFC sector as a whole?
So I think I'm clearly negative on that space at this point. Even if I were to look at value there, I think I would wait for at least a couple of quarters. The NBFC space is going to struggle for the next 1 year or so, primarily because first of all, they are borrowing from banks and markets, and they are going to struggle in terms of managing liquidity. There are some good NBFCs which have liquidity on the balance sheet, or they have cash credit available. But at the same time, I think the asset quality for them is going to deteriorate. They are not being able to lend in the market because they are scared of lending in the current scenario, whether it's the auto space or whether it's a personal loan space or whether it's the any other segment, corporate loans or even the housing space. I think the NBFCs are going to struggle for the next 1 year. It is better to stick to quality names which have shown a good track record. For example, an HDFC which will continue to shine in the current market. But I think going down the NBFC curve is going to be tough, because I don't know whether even in the current scenario some of them may survive.
Okay, fair enough. Rajesh, I just wanted to come back to pharma. You said, just to confirm, you said the big move you've seen in the US focused generic pharma companies seems like a 1-year tactical trade. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I personally believe so. The reason is that I don't know whether,
how much of that move is already behind us? How much of that move, Rajesh, how much of that move is already behind us?
I can't really say. See, I would not give more than 25 times 1 year forward to a pharma company now in the current scenario. See, if you are making an ROE of 12% on a sustainable basis, what is going to move the needle? I don't know. So for a generic pharma company, it's about launching products, and every product that they launch today is not earning you as much as it was earning you a few years back in terms of profitability or top line. So I don't know, even if you launch 30 products, you get 30 ANDA approvals and launch 25, 30 products a year. I mean, how much are you adding to your balance sheet or your P&L to move the needle? Because the size of these companies is large. So my take is that I would not give these companies more than 25 times multiple. There could be an exuberance on the other side because the market is moving assets to pharma. That is the only reason why they're going up. There is a liquidity increase in there's been a buying in some of these generic companies. So I wouldn't like, it's a hiding place. And if I were given a chance, I would not be present in those generic companies.
Okay, and this is coming from somebody who's tracked the space for, as I said, a long time in one of the largest fund houses in the country. Rajesh, just leave us with top picks in that space, in that pharma space. Actually, just make it pharma and chemical. Briefly, Rajesh.
So, I've always mentioned this. In fact, if you go back to the interviews that I gave you a year back or so, I've always talked about contract manufacturing and research space. That CRAM space looks very good to me. And there are two companies which really stand out there. One of them has a very good track record and has a very reasonably good ROCE on the business, cash rich, good quality management. And I think that's a structural story. They just completed 1,700 crores of capex, and I think that with an asset turnover of 1.5 to 2 times adds another 3,000 to top line over the next couple of years. That's one company or one space I like. And in chemicals, there are 2 or 3 good names. There's a benzene chemicals player which has leadership in ONCB, PNCB globally, and they've actually beaten China in their own game. And in the current scenario, will continue to gain. They are present across, so their user industries are present across pharma, agrochemicals, plastics, and other, multiple user industries. They're diversified across the user industries, so they will not be impacted by the current scenario. They're in a cost plus pricing mechanism. So clearly, I think absolute profits will continue to be there. Absolute profit growth will continue to be there for that company. So I think there are these couple of good names I will stick to. I think I'm going to be very, very cautious in the current market. I think I'm pretty negative on the entire universe today, and I'm going to be very cautious and selective on stocks. I'm going to be in a very few stocks today, and gradually increase my holdings as time goes by.
Okay, Mr. Pherwani, thanks a lot for joining us and giving us all your outlook on the markets as of now. It's time to slip into a short break, and as we head into a break, here's something that you, our viewers, must take note of. CNBC TV 18 and National Stock Exchange have come together to promote investor awareness through a special campaign, Informed Investor, that empowers you to make the right decisions with your money. If you invest in the stock markets, you should probably know about contract notes. It is a legal record of all transactions transactions carried out on your account in a trading day. While you may trust your broker to transact on your behalf, do insist on obtaining contract notes, bills and ledgers within 24 hours of any